All right, y'all, welcome to the show. We have a lot of stuff to get into today. So in just a second, how Trump and Elon are directly responsible for killing 28 children in Texas and many more adults. I'll break that down for you with all of the detail around it. Then we'll get to Elon Musk has officially launched a political party, a brand new political party. And nominally, the idea is he's trying to win races, but in reality, what can happen is that he just torpedoes Trump and torpedoes MAGA. So let me break that down for you. I think that's really interesting, including, why is he doing it? Why? What is the purpose? And what does he think he's going to get out of it? So we'll talk about all that. Then we'll get to a bombshell report that came out a few days ago. Immigrants are officially being tortured at MAGA concentration camps. We'll get into all that. We'll talk about how 90 deals in 90 days was another scam that absolutely imploded spectacularly. We have Joe Rogan being immensely desperate to wash the stench of Trump off of him. We have Grok calling out Elon Musk directly in one of the most vicious ways I've ever seen. We have Alex Jones literally puking and crying over Trump's Epstein betrayal. We talked about that last night in a breaking news video, the Epstein betrayal. Today we're going to talk about Alex Jones' reaction to it, which is absolutely hilarious. And then we'll get to Trump gave one of his most unhinged, off-the-rails speeches I've ever seen on July 4th. We really need to start having a conversation about the 25th Amendment because he is absolutely sundowning. He's absolutely becoming more and more senile by the day. The stuff he's saying does not add up in any way, shape, or form. He has no idea what's going on. He literally didn't even know what was in his main piece of legislation, the big, beautiful bill. He had no idea what was in it, as we discussed last week. So a lot of stuff to get to. You guys know the drill. Everybody, please subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time and costs you absolutely nothing at all. Some extra love sent out to all of you who support this show on Patreon. We could not do it without you. This is real independent media, real grassroots media. If you'd like to hook a brother up with $2 a month, $5 a month, whatever it may be, the link is below to help, or you could tip with that thanks button on YouTube, or you could sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. That link is below as well. And everybody go subscribe to the Corin's World YouTube channel, where we're dropping Kyle and Corin podcasts. We actually just missed our first week last week because my internet went out when I was on vacation, but now we're back in the studio, we're back in the lab, and we are going to go right back to the grind, do another Kyle and Corin this week. I believe that drops on Wednesday, if I remember correctly. But anyway, really looking forward to that. So go subscribe to the Corin's World YouTube channel to see some old school Kyle and Corin. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. So guys, it was not that long ago. I remember covering this story, and I thought it was a colossal deal. I thought it was huge that this happened. But as you can see here, I covered a story. Elon's DOGE cuts just killed 27 Americans. And this story was about big storms and I believe some tornadoes that went through Kentucky and left 27 Americans dead. And the big takeaway from this story is basically NOAA and the NWS, the National Weather Service, they failed to give the adequate warnings before the tornadoes came through and destroyed everything in sight. And there's a very specific reason why that happened. Because Trump and Elon Musk, with their DOGE insanity, they went in there and fired people left and right. They massively cut NOAA. They massively cut the National Weather Service. They cut the number of weather balloons in the country down by quite a bit. And so as a direct result of that, we have worse weather forecasting abilities. This is not a matter of opinion. This is not up for debate. This is just empirically describing what happened. This is the situation. And so, as I said at the time, it's Elon's DOGE cuts. They are directly responsible for the deaths of 27 Americans. That's a huge deal. Now, unfortunately, I didn't see much talk about it at the time. There were a couple outlets that covered it. That's how I got the information and how I talked about it on our show. But I didn't really see much, certainly in the mainstream media outlets. I didn't see the Democrats make a big stink about it. And that's quite unfortunate because it's a huge deal. Right? I mean, you can hammer them from a political perspective, which of course is just, it's a sitting duck. It's so obvious that you need to do that. But also, if you give a shit about the well-being of the American people, this is not going to stop here. There's going to be many more examples of exactly this happening moving forward. Because when your weather forecasting is destroyed, your weather forecasting is destroyed. And so there's going to be more storms. There's going to be more wild, severe weather events. And they destroyed our ability to adequately respond in real time. On top of, by the way, Trump trying to abolish FEMA, which would mean when a disaster comes through, we're talking about no warning, more people will die, and then after the fact, he goes, shut the fuck up and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You're on your own. Well, guess what? It happened again, y'all. It happened again. So this time, it was in Central Texas. I'll show you some videos here, but the flooding is just absolutely disastrous. So here's one clip that I can show you for everybody just listening to this podcast style. I mean, this is like apocalyptic type shit here. This flooding is just off the charts. You're talking about, I mean, you could see, this can absolutely take people out. And in fact, it did take people out. Here's some more pictures. You have these giant trees that were uprooted and, you know, brought to random places by a road. You have the chassis of a car. Is that what that is? Upside down. I mean, we have some more video here for you as well. So this is flooding that overtook roadway 1431 near Jonestown. It's impassable from rushing floodwaters. Watch this one. So you can see again, the trees, the logs being swept downriver. I mean, of course, this is a life-threatening situation. That's what this is. And of course, the problem here was the warning system was not prepared. They were not ready. They were forecasting about half the rain that they ended up actually getting. And this is what happens when you cut the number of weather balloons and you cut back on the National Weather Service, is the shit is just not accurate. Now, by the way, I literally have a story about this myself. Now, thankfully, we didn't have weather that was as severe as what you just saw here, of course. But it's already happened a number of times where the weather app will say one thing and then, you know, you go about your day and then all of a sudden it starts raining cats and dogs. And then it says, oh, it's going to end in 5 minutes. And it goes on for 2 hours more. This literally directly happened when we were on vacation, where the weather said one thing, the weather app said one thing, then the actual weather was something else. And then it was just wrong prediction after wrong prediction after wrong prediction about what was going to happen. And understand something, guys, this is new. This is new. It used to be, you know, we have the technology and we have the ability that for quite a while now, the forecasts were pretty fucking accurate. They were pretty spot on. If it said, hey, the rain is going to stop in 17 minutes, it usually stopped around 17 minutes. But now it says, oh, it's going to stop in 2 minutes. And it goes on for 2 hours more. That's my personal experience with it. Now imagine that, except with biblical flooding. Biblical flooding. All right, so more. Look at this video, man. Holy shit. This is catastrophic. This is catastrophic. The Llano River in Llano, Texas. Look at this. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's just not safe to be anywhere around any of this stuff. So, of course, the death toll was pretty severe. New York Post covered it. Flood of tears. Texas deluge kills dozens. 5 camp girls dead, 22 missing. Now, since this came out, the numbers have, of course, skyrocketed way more than this. In fact, the last I saw, it was about 28 children who've been killed. Some of the kids were little girls who were basically at like this Christian Bible camp or something in Central Texas. Their campgrounds were like relatively close to a river. When the rain was double what was forecasted, I mean, that thing rose so high that it just wiped out absolutely everything in sight. It wiped out everything in sight. So New York Times says, crucial positions at the local offices of the National Weather Service were unfilled as severe rainfall inundated parts of Central Texas, prompting experts to question whether staffing shortages made it harder for the agency to coordinate with local emergency managers as flood waters rose. What you're about to see here, and I'll go into more detail on it, is that these like super important, you know, severe weather management positions were not filled. And they weren't filled because of DOGE and because of Trump and because of the budget cuts. So a lot of these people, including the main person, was effectively forced to take early retirement. Okay, so now look at this as well. This is incredible. All of this, by the way, was laid out in plain language in Project 2025, that this is what Trump and the Republicans were going to do. The reason Trump defunded the National Weather Service, leading to the deaths of all those girls in the Texas flood, is because Project 2025 thought weather prediction science was tied to evidence of climate change. So they look at weather forecasting and they say, hey, the forecasting that you guys do gives us a lot of facts, and those facts point to climate change, and we don't like climate change, so let's like destroy our ability to do accurate weather forecasts. I'll show you this here. Look at this part. This is in Project 2025. Together, these form a colossal operation that has become one of the main drivers of the climate change alarm industry, and as such is harmful to the future of U.S. prosperity. This industry's mission emphasis on prediction and management seems designed around the fatal conceit of planning for the unplannable. That is not to say NOAA is useless, but its current organization corrupts its useful functions. It should be broken up and downsized. Well, you got your wish. It was massively, massively downsized, and now people are dying in severe weather events all across the country because we are not accurately forecasting what's going to come. Man, it's just so dark. It's so dark. Ryan Grimm says, I could not possibly be filled with more rage after seeing Texas Republicans blame the National Weather Service forecast for the unspeakable tragedy that hit the girls' camp. You were warned this would happen if you fired everyone. And what did they do? They fucking fired everyone. Texas official blasts National Weather Service for faulty forecasts and deadly flood disaster. You guys brought this about. Trump brought this about. Elon brought this about. The Republicans all supported it. The Republicans all cheered as it happened. You destroyed the ability to get the warnings out there, and now you're like, where are the warnings, bro? We need some warnings, bro. I blame the people that we just fucking fired. You were told by every leftist, every liberal, every Democrat in the country, this is a horrible idea and this will lead to deaths, and you didn't care. So here's what this asshole says.
Original forecast that we received on Wednesday from the National Weather Service predicted 3 to 6 inches of rain in the Concho Valley and 4 to 8 inches of rain in the Hill Country. We worked with our own meteorologists to fine-tune that weather statement, and as many of you know, and many of you in broadcast journalism and meteorology, you can go back and look at your own forecast, and the amount of rain that fell in this specific location was never in any of those forecasts.
This rain event sat on top of that and dumped more rain than what was forecasted on both of those forks. When we got the report, it was about 7 feet or so on the South Fork, and within a matter of minutes, it was up to 29 feet, and all of that converged at the Guadalupe, and that's where we saw those very quick rise in flood.
But listen, everybody got the forecast from the National Weather Service, right? You all got it. You're all in media. You got that forecast. It did not predict the amount of rain that we saw.
So understand what they do, guys. The right likes to destroy the government, and then when the government underperforms and doesn't do its job and is incompetent, they turn around and go, see, government's incompetent. That's why we should underfund it even more. It's circular logic. God, I really do despise these people with a burning passion. And understand, blood is on the hands of Elon Musk and Donald Trump and the Republicans. No doubt about it. You got Ted Cruz out there now going, wow, we need like a system of warning that like works better than this, bro. Oh, no shit. You mean like the thing that we just had before you guys destroyed it? Daily Beast says, Texas officials slam Trump's National Weather Service for botched forecast. Officials in Texas are casting blame on the National Weather Service for failing to forecast catastrophic flooding that has killed at least 27 people. That number's gone up, by the way. The NWS was among the government agencies targeted by DOGE in its effort to gut the federal bureaucracy, losing approximately 600 staffers. After the cuts, the agency, which was already understaffed, began to prepare to offer degraded forecasting services, facing severe shortages of meteorologists, according to an internal document obtained by the New York Times in April. This is the systematic destruction of everything that's good and functioning in this country. It turns out government is actually very important. It turns out we actually need a functioning, civilized, developed government that helps society run smoother. And there's a lot of things that people take for granted that when it's gone, they go, oh shit. We don't have that taken care of. The original forecast that we received Wednesday from the National Weather Service predicted 36 inches of rain in the Concho Valley and 4 to 8 inches in the Hill Country. The amount of rain that fell at this specific location was never in any of those forecasts. Sudden thunderstorms dumped more than 10 inches of rain on the area, causing heavy flooding from the Guadalupe River. Dalton Rice, the city manager for Kerrville, Texas, who also spoke at the press conference, said that the catastrophic flash flooding happened because the skies dumped more rain than what was forecasted on 2 of the river's forks. The flooding has killed at least 43 people so far, including 15 children. More than 25 young girls from Camp Mystic, a Christian summer camp that sits near the river, are still missing. Again, let me reiterate, those numbers have gone up. Last I read, it was about 28 children, precious children, who were killed, all because they destroyed our weather forecasting abilities on purpose. Speaking to reporters on Air Force One Friday, Trump called the catastrophe shocking and terrible. They don't know the answer yet as to how many people, but it looks like some young people have died. In May, all 5 living directors, listen to this, guys. In May, All 5 living directors of the National Weather Service issued a letter warning that Trump's cuts, quote, leave the nation's official weather forecasting entity at a significant deficit, just as we head into the busiest time for severe storm predictions like tornadoes and hurricanes, the directors wrote. Our worst nightmare is that weather forecast offices will be so understaffed that there will be needless loss of life. All 5 directors, living directors of the National Weather Service said, hey, dog, I'm just saying, people are going to die. People are going to die because of your stupid anti-government extremism, the ideological Kool-Aid that you chugged. They're going to die because you don't think we need accurate weather forecasting. You don't think we need as many weather balloons as we have. And you wanted to fire 600 people to show how tough and anti-government you are, bro. Well, congratulations. Blood is on your hands. In a statement to the Daily Beast, a spokesperson for the NWS said, the National Weather Service is heartbroken by the tragic loss of life in Kerr County. On July 3rd, the NWS office in Austin and San Antonio, Texas, conducted forecast briefings for emergency management in the morning and issued a flood watch in the early afternoon. Flash flood warnings were also issued on the night of July 3rd and the early morning of July 4th, giving preliminary lead times of more than 3 hours before flash flooding conditions occurred. That's a little misleading, though, because, as they said, it dumped double the amount of rain that they predicted. And the reason they couldn't predict it is because of fewer staffers and fewer weather balloons. And this is blood on the hands of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. There's no doubt about it. Here's another headline from May 5th. Former National Weather Service leaders warn about loss of life from NOAA cuts. And ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what happened. Now, what are the Republicans saying now? What are the Republicans saying now? Well, let's go to Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, when he's not monitoring an app which shows him what kind of porn his son is watching. He's out there saying shit like this.
State and federal resources have just poured into that area. Is there anything more that can be done congressionally, legislatively to help these folks?
In a moment like this, we feel just as helpless as everyone else does. I've talked to my colleagues there in Texas, Chip Roy and August Pfluger, whose families, that's Chip's district. August's daughters were at the camp. We also had Betty Carter of Georgia, had grandchildren there. It touches so many families, and all we know to do at this moment is pray. Every available resource has been deployed. The president, of course, is dialed in and watching this develop moment by moment as we are, and we'll handle supplemental funding requests as they come in, but right now they're still trying to do rescue and recovery.
All we know how to do is pray. Just like every time there's a mass shooting where over a dozen children are murdered, they go, thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. This shit is a crutch to not actually do anything substantive to fix the problem. This is not rocket science. The answer is fund NOAA, fund the National Weather Service, put more weather balloons up like we had before. It just requires actually caring and wanting to do it. But they don't care and they don't want to do it. They're too busy serving their billionaire donors to give a shit about regular people all around this country. I mean, I've never seen a society degrade so quickly than what we're witnessing right now. I mean, I thought the collapse of empires was a gradual process, but apparently not. Apparently we're speed running that shit. Can't even get the weather forecast right because you guys wanted to fire 600 people and you guys wanted to cut the number of weather balloons. Well, you made your bed and now you're sleeping in it, and innocent people's lives have been destroyed as a direct result of your negligence. And now all you have to do, she's like, hey, what can we do to fix this? He goes, say a prayer. No, what you do to fix it is fund NOAA, fund the National Weather Service, massively increase the number of weather balloons. Don't just bring back 600 people, bring back the 600 plus another 600. And by the way, in the grand scheme of things, that's fucking peanuts to the federal government. That is fucking peanuts. But again, they're waging war on everything good about our government. What are the base Republicans saying? What's MAGA saying? Ready? Look at this. Kylie Jane Creamer, hilarious name, says, I've been trying to wrap my head around how the flooding in Texas became so devastating so quickly. Why not evacuate? Then I saw this. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said the Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in just 45 minutes around 4 a.m. That doesn't even seem natural. It's almost, Kylie, like the climate is changing. And it's almost like every expert in this field has been screaming that at the top of their lungs for fucking decades at you idiots. But you don't buy it. In fact, the new conspiracy is they're going to, bro, I think Bill Gates was cloud seeding and doing weather modification, and that's why this happened. Oh my God. So anytime a natural disaster hits a blue state, it's because they're sinners and they're bad people and it's God's wrath. This is what these people say. But when a natural disaster hits a red state, suddenly it's Bill Gates and weather modification, and they're using machines to try to destroy the country. This point here, to me, is absolutely devastating. I got to read it for you. So Craig T. Nelson says, a common progressive fantasy is that once conservatives see the consequences of climate change, they will have some sort of come-to-Jesus moment. But it was always pretty obvious to people paying attention that they were just going to blame it on deep state flooding technology and learn nothing. And I'll be damned if that's not exactly what happened. Look at this one. Liz Churchill, another right-wing idiot. There's no way this is normal. It's almost like the weather has been weaponized. Bill Gates should be investigated immediately. He's already admitted to blocking the sun. Let me ask you this question. If you're somebody on the right, does this not embarrass you? Is this not embarrassing that these are the people on your team? That these are the idiots you're in league with? That they clearly have, like, absolutely no concern whatsoever for the truth. They don't care about the truth. Everything is weaving a political narrative and story to make them feel comfortable and to watch after their feelings. That's what this is. That's what all this is. So it's so, Jesus Christ, man. It's just horrific. It's just horrific. So now let's get to the Democrats. This actually really pissed me off too. So Hakeem Jeffries comes out and says the following. This is the statement he released after the horrific flooding. My prayers are with everyone in the path of the horrific floods in the hill country of Texas, particularly with the parents and families of the girls from Camp Mystic. I join the nation in mourning for those who have been lost. House Democrats stand ready to support the response effort in any way possible. We are grateful to the first responders who are putting themselves in danger while working to save lives under extremely difficult conditions. May God watch over the people of Texas and our country. This is why I say Hakeem Jeffries needs to resign. This is why I say he's not fit for this moment. There is a plethora of information out there in no uncertain terms, in black and white, that lays out Elon and Trump cutting NOAA and the National Weather Service directly led to these deaths. Those girls would be alive if Elon and Trump didn't fire 600 people at NOAA, didn't cut the number of weather balloons that went in the air to monitor our weather, didn't take a fucking sledgehammer to our administrative state and our regulatory state. Illegal cuts, by the way, completely illegal, completely unconstitutional. They're not allowed to do it. They did it anyway in contravention of court orders. And you bring up none of that. You bring up none of that. That if Kamala Harris was in the White House right now, these people would be alive. They'd be alive. I have many issues with Kamala Harris. She would not have taken a sledgehammer to NOAA and NWS. She wouldn't have fired 600 people. She wouldn't have cut the number of fucking weather balloons that go in the air. She wasn't desperate to get in office to destroy our weather forecasting abilities like Elon Musk and Donald Trump. You bring up none of this? None of this. They literally have blood on their hands, and you bring up absolutely none of it? You have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. Resign. Step aside. You're in no position to lead. Any half-decent Democratic leader, of course, would bring those facts up. You think if the roles were reversed, that wouldn't be the only thing Republicans are talking about for a fucking week straight? Every time they open their mouth, every time they do an interview, they would say, these Democrats literally killed 28 children. They killed them. They murdered them. They have blood on their hands. It's directly because of the Democratic cuts that led to these people dying. They wouldn't have died if Democrats were not in power. That's what they'd be saying. But the roles are reversed, and this motherfucker's having a pillow fight. They're bringing a fucking AK-47, the Republicans are, and Hakeem Jeffries is standing there with a pillow in his jammies, going tee-hee-hee, tee-hee-hee. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Like, and by the way, how do you expect to get back into power if you're not making arguments, if you're not pointing out these things? And again, like, the thing that drives me the craziest is the argument makes itself. All you have to do is bring up the facts, and everybody else can connect the dots. Wow, it's horrific that those little girls died in Texas. Donald Trump and Elon Musk fired 600 people who worked for NOAA. They cut the number of weather balloons. They destroyed our weather forecasting ability. That's all you have to say, and everybody else will connect the fucking dots for you. You don't even have to be like me and go after them and call them fucking murderers and say they have blood on their hands. You just have to point out the fucking facts. Is that every single thing is lay on the ground in a chalk outline of himself. Oh, I wouldn't want to politicize a tragedy. But tragedies are political. This is deeply political. Just like when there's a mass shooting and, you got some absolute lunatic who was able to get their hands on a weapon. Well, if we had universal background checks, we could weed those people out and make sure or if we had red flag laws, we could weed those people out and make sure they don't It's not easy for them to get their hands on a weapon. That's political. It is deeply political. This is all immensely political. It is purely political. And if you're not going to make the arguments, who is? Who is? You know, you're relying on people to come to a fucking YouTube show like mine in order to hear the thing that you should be saying? Oh my God, bro. Oh my God, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. So anyway, look, let's just, in plain language, let's just call it what it is. Elon Musk and Donald Trump fired 600 people from NOAA. They massively slashed NOAA. They massively slashed the National Weather Service. And they massively cut the number of weather balloons in the sky to give us accurate forecasting. So our ability to do accurate forecasting is now out the window. And as a direct result of that, the forecast was off, and these innocent people died, including 28 children, at least 28 children. That's what happened. That's what happened. And if you're not talking about fixing that in this moment, when are we ever going to fucking fix it? If you're not taking this moment to say, we have to fucking fix this, when are we going to fix it? When are we going to fix it? We're never going to fix it if you can't come out now and say, we got to fucking fix this. It just drives me crazy because then you have the well-meaning, the good, like, meteorologists who are on TV. There was a Florida meteorologist who did an amazing segment where he said, here's a video of me from the past telling you that this hurricane looks like it's coming at us, but it's actually going to go back out to sea. I was able to make that prediction because we had the information from the National Weather Service. Now I can't make that prediction because the National Weather Service has been destroyed. So people's lives are in danger because of these cuts. That's what a Florida meteorologist said. There's this YouTuber I watch who's also a meteorologist. His YouTube channel is Ryan Hall, and he does, you know, weather forecasting stuff. And he was sounding the alarm from very early on that, look, I'm not even a political guy, but these cuts are going to fucking kill people. They're going to make it so we can't accurately predict shit. So you got the experts in the field are warning you about it. The media is telling you these damning, devastating facts. And the Republicans simply don't give a shit. They don't care at all. And the Democrats are not making the argument. Oh my God, bro. Trump and Elon Musk should be arrested. They should be arrested. I'm so sick of this bullshit too. This idea that like, well, since it's like one step removed, they're not responsible. No, they are fucking responsible. They were warned this would happen. They just don't care. And you know they don't care. The cherry on top is Trump's also abolishing FEMA. He's trying to get rid of FEMA. So don't warn people about the severe weather. People die, and then hang them out to dry. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Did your whole fucking town get wiped out? Did hundreds of people die? Don't care. Handle it yourself. So think about it. According to Trump and Elon, it is not the government's business that when American citizens are in their moment of deepest need, it is not the job of the government to help them out. So these people pay taxes their whole fucking lives. They pay taxes, and then when their lives get destroyed, the government doesn't offer a helping hand. Sorry, we're too busy sending $38 billion to Elon Musk's bank account, and we're busy sending tens of billions to Israel to carpet bomb more kids. But you're on your own. I mean, these people are criminals. They need to be locked up. It's that simple. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.